Hello and welcome back to WhiteLinesFootball for another podcast. Lewis here today, and I'm not on my own. I've got a friend with me. It's Ibs.
Hi there, everyone.
How was Germany, Ibs?
Oh, it was absolutely wonderful. But I'm glad to be back to be back behind the mic. So should be good.
You haven't been on a podcast in a while.
I haven't been in front of a camera. I haven't been recording in a very long time. So here's my return. So back and better than ever, I think.
It should be good. I mean, meanwhile, Jack is still touring Spain.
Yeah, he's on his European tour at the moment. He's making some big signings.
Who knows what he's getting up to?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we will get on to talk about the football topics now of the week. Now, we are going to talk about 4 things today. First of all, Ibrahim. We're going to talk about Chelsea, and things do not look great at Chelsea at the moment. Not just on the pitch, but I'll be off it as well. Obviously, the loss the first day of the season, Ibs. 2 red cards, Cahill and Fabregas, in that particular order. Both clear red cards for me. I think they're both warranted.
Absolutely.
Obviously, Fabregas' own stupidity, clapping the referee, and then with the foul. Do you think we should read too much into the loss? I mean, like you said before, Chelsea
they've done
commonly have poor starts to seasons. Obviously, they're the champions, though. Should we read too much into it, or is it a cause of concern?
I think it is. I think it is a bit of a cause for concern. I think you've got to be very careful and touchy-feely about it because it is first game of season. There were so many surprises. So the result itself, though, is a massive surprise because they just won the league. But at the same time, it's not that much of a surprise, really. If you look at the result on its own, like these things do happen at the start of the season. Shocks are to be expected. It's just the nature of the way it happened. Like Cahill, of all the times for you to have that. When you've just got the armband, you've got to show some leadership and quality.
Permanently, because he was the on-field captain.
Permanently. So it's the absolute worst way, to start off your permanent career as captain.
16 minutes in.
Yeah, something like, I think it was like literally a quarter of an hour, and then does an awful stuff. Obviously, he didn't mean anything by it.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's not a stupid person or anything like that. And then the Fabregas red card, again, it was a real case of that's not champion. That's not the quality of a champion right there. That's not. You would never expect that from someone like him. The first yellow card, he said, so childish, and the second one, I don't have a clue why he was so surprised. Really don't, because that second yellow was a red card on its own.
Do you think
it was an awful tackle? It was an awful tackle.
Yeah.
So it could have been a red card on its own. So of course he's going to get that, and they were really poor. Obviously, attacking-wise, getting those goals back, they had some incredible quality. And I think that's the reason why I'm a bit concerned about saying we should really worry, because the attacking side, the goals were incredible, absolutely beautiful. And that's the quality they still possess. But the stuff in the background, with Costa, with Conte, and even Kante having a new signing, of course, that's kind of right in his position. It's very awkward, so it's hard, really. Yeah, we will get onto that. But first of all, I do want to talk a little bit about Conte's decisions at the weekend. First of all, I mean he made a change. Cahill went off and straight away took Boga off for Christensen. Maybe it was a bit of a negative move to keep 5/3 at the back when they'd just been sent off, and then later on, he took off Batshuayi and brought on Morata. So, again, they're losing. They're at home. First game of the season. What's wrong with going 2 up top? I think Conte got quite a lot wrong on the day. But away from that, do you think the discipline's a problem? Do you think it reflects what's going on behind the scenes? Or do you think it's just football and that's what happens? It's just unfortunate that it happened twice in one game. I think it doesn't really say too much of a problem for me personally, because I think that Conte, first of all, is a manager who, I mean, he's won the league. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. He's got a mindset that he's got to go by, and he's got the mentality that if a change needs to be done now, be brutal with it and just do it and go for it. And I think the Batshuayi change, first of all, was a bit of a questionable one, but you can't really argue with that at the same time, because Morata came on and instantly made a difference, instantly showed movement, instantly got in behind the line, started asking questions, got him a goal, and
scored an offside goal as well.
Yeah, but I mean, the goal counts as well, and that one. So in that side, and then the off the field stuff, I think it is a bit. Again, it's a very sensitive time, and I think that's one of the reasons why I don't want to read too much into it. But I do think there is a bit of a problem. But again, I don't want to say too much.
I do want to touch on a few things because obviously there were rumours that Conte was going to leave Chelsea almost imminently.
And then signs the deal.
Yeah, signed a new 2-year deal, and he said we need to remain at the top. And for me, they've fallen behind. Obviously, they lost out on Lukaku, which who we'll also go on to talk about later. They bought in Morata, who does seem a good signing, but he's only hit over 10 career goals once in his career in a season. So again, he's got to prove himself. They missed out on that proven goal scorer in the league that Manchester United have now got in Lukaku. Like you said, they've brought in Bakayoko, who's a similar sort of player to Kante, so I'm not sure we'll see them together or how he'll be used. And Rudiger, who's a similar player to David Luiz. Bit of a rash defender, but again, good on the ball. And for me, I think they're still weak in a few areas. I mean, I know there was rumours about Conte falling out with the board about the whole transfer situation.
That is a bit concerning. I would have to say definitely. If you've got your manager who's not really sure about, first of all, the transfers, not very happy with those, and Matic as well, and I think that is definitely a cause for concern.
Matic is a weird one because not only was he so vital to that Chelsea side last season in terms of going forward and defensively next to Kante. I mean, they worked so well together. Going especially to Manchester United, which is such a title rival, it's really weird because he's going to sort of fill in a missing piece of the jigsaw for Manchester United in defensive midfield, and he can also go forward well. So not only are they weakening themselves, they're also strengthening a rival.
Exactly.
And they get to replace him. They're looking at the likes of Danny Drinkwater, which is a bit of a weird one. Conte branded Matic as a great loss in an interview with Sky Sports, which is a bit weird because it suggests to me that he didn't want him to go.
No, not at all. Especially even if he was happy to let him go, not happy to let him go, but willing to let him go. To United is it's suicidal.
Yeah. Like it suggests to me it's been done behind his back almost, and he wouldn't have wanted him to go. He called him a great loss. He wouldn't have said that if he wanted him to go and accepted the deal. So but there are reports he didn't care, which is again a bit confusing. But of course, stuff gets tied up in the media. Like I mentioned, the transfer business is all a bit funny. They still got a lot to go. They probably need another centre midfielder in there.
Probably falling back a little bit.
Yeah, that isn't Danny Drinkwater. They still need a couple of wing backs because, Azpilicueta playing there when he's better in the middle and all this stuff that's going on. But again, I want to come back to you with Costa. After Costa was told that he wasn't wanted by Conte, reported over text message, it's clear that he's not wanted at the club anymore. But he is under contract. Do you think it's fair for him to what he's doing, and he's saying he's prepared to go on strike and he's been fined for not showing up to pre-season? Do you think it's fair he's doing that after the way he's been treated, or do you think he's should be fulfilling what his contract states that he signed?
Ultimately, at the end of the day, he is under contract. The way I say it, I think the way he's been, I sympathise with him because of the way he's been treated. 100% sympathise with him. He's clearly a bit of a fan favourite as well. They love him, But
I've said before, like, Conte is a bit savage and ruthless because he used Costa so well last season to help him win the league, and now he's just like nine a bit and just shipped him off. But yeah, it is a bit weird. Costa clearly wants to join Atletico Madrid by reports and what it sounds like, but obviously they can't because of the transfer ban. So there are other rumours he wants to go on loan to Milan until January. Until he can sign for Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
But Chelsea have come out and said that they expect him to train in pre-season's over. They expect him to train in the season. They expect him to get fit and be available for selection. And if he was available for selection, Costa, Morata, Batshuayi, it's decent strike force. But
fantastic, right? Well,
it doesn't look like that is going to happen.
The fine was definitely correct because ultimately, if he's expected to be there, he's capable of being there, and he's not turning up. Sorry, the contract is there for a reason. He's not doing as he's contracted to do, so he has to get fined. That one I wouldn't say too much about. That's just kind of part of him. He's probably fully aware of that, and that fine probably doesn't concern him at all because he knows what he's doing. So he's a grown man. He's aware of the implications. But if he's trying to force his way out, I mean, if he's been told he's not expected to be in the plans and he wants to be gone, and they're not letting him, obviously, you may as well try and take matters into your own hands.
I think something that sticks out is he got fined for not showing up for pre-season training, right? So obviously he wants out. Another player that really wants out of their club is Virgil van Dijk at Southampton. Seems apparent that he wants to join Liverpool. He's showing up for training still, fulfilling his contract, but he's training with the youth players and reserves or whatever. But he's still fulfilling his contract. Could Costa do that? I know it's not in Costa's nature, but would it look better if he was to show up for training, do his best? Even if he's not to be selected, it shows him to be a good pro, and eventually he will obviously get his move because he wants out. Chelsea want him out, but again, that doesn't seem like a very Costa thing to do.
I think he needs to still be at training, really. I think not just for contract wise, but genuinely for himself, for his own abilities, because I think Virgil van Dijk thing, him turning up, that shows, in my opinion, how it should be done. Because, come on, you're a grown man at least at the end of the day. But yeah, I think he should still be training. I think, of course, it makes sense, and I sympathise, as I said. But for his own general development, for his own ability, if he really wants to go to Atletico Madrid and he wants to remain at that quality, he needs to keep himself training, really.
Yeah.
And if he wants to even go Milan, again, same case. Obviously, I'm not saying he's going to lose his abilities at all in one pre-season just because he hasn't been training for a couple of weeks or something like that. Of course, he's doing things on his own at home, but I think he should really still be there, because at the end of the day, there will be games, I'm sure, and I think it is a very Costa thing to do, to not turn up to a little bit and then suddenly come back with a bang and then make a case for himself. I feel like that's the kind of thing he would do, just because that if he was to suddenly come back out of nowhere, come and get a goal and then win a game, that's a bit of a slap in the face to Conte. That's the kind of thing I would imagine Costa to do.
Yeah, I think we've seen it before, haven't we? Something sticks to my mind was Wayne Rooney a few years back when he put in a transfer request. Rumours he was going to Man City, came back, started scoring goals again. In my books, Costa's still better than Batshuayi and Morata at the minute, because
I agree.
Although Morata might be younger and have so much potential, and he's shown it in 3 different leagues. Yeah. Costa's proven in the Premier League he's the player that's going to hold up the ball.
That's the big thing. Costa's proven himself in the Premier League, the ruthless nature, and he's capable of dealing with rugged opponents. Yeah, he's got pace, he's got power, he's going to wind up defenders. It could happen, but again, like you say, Costa needs to get fixed. If he wants to go on loan, he needs to be fixed, otherwise he's not going to play. Simple as that. Overall though, do you see Conte leaving Chelsea this season? I don't think Conte is going to go, especially now he's just got his contract. I think he won't go this season. I think especially because I feel like he's kind of dug himself a hole, and even though the people the board are definitely not helping him out, he's kind of in this situation where he's kind of got to stick it out now. Of course, I wouldn't be surprised if he was to leave, because that's a very Chelsea thing to do, to have a manager suddenly leave. But I feel like this season he's got to stick around. I feel like he absolutely needs to, because for his own career, again, he's in this mess. He says he needs to be here to fight and get the team capable of winning the league again. So, and I think he's got these signings and he's in this position, and he's got the leadership still. I mean, if he could do it last season, I'm sure he can do it this season as well. I think he needs to stick around, really.
So how
it'd be an expensive loss if he was, after just signing a contract, to then leave as well. Considering
Chelsea have the Champions League and Premier League to cope with, and again at the weekend, because of the injuries they've got at the minute, like Bakayoko, Hazard are out. Apart from Morata and maybe Caballero as well, there was no sort of renowned first team quality players on the bench, and they've got to deal with the Champions League and the Premier League.
Yeah.
Obviously backroom problems with the manager, the playing staff. What's a success for Chelsea in terms of a top 4 finish maybe?
No. You have to remember, this is Chelsea, so
reigning champions. Yeah,
that's the important thing, which is they have no excuses, genuinely none, to not compete for the title. This is Chelsea. You have to remember, this isn't, I'm digging at myself, this isn't Arsenal, this is Chelsea. That is a win or die. A winner is, you either are the winner or you are a loser. It's simple as that. So their aim is for one of the major titles. Okay, that is Champions League or Premier League. There's, so for them, they have to at least be competitive for the Premier League at the very minimum. I think anything below second is going to look awful for them. Because these are all issues that they should have fixed. And even with all these issues in the back, even with Costa, they've got the pedigree and they've definitely got the money to fix it themselves. They and the signings they're making, if they even know they've got problems with wing backs or in the middle or up front as well, they've got everything they need, and they've got the pedigree and the accolade of, yes, we are the Premier League champions. So they've got every reason to attract other people. So this is a mess that they're causing for themselves. So, and even if the board are the people making the decisions, they've still got the same advantages. And of course, they've got their own agents and their own scouts. Those guys still need to be doing their job to make sure that they make this as easy as possible for the team. So, I don't think this is a case of stay top 4 or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think this is a case of, right, okay, this is our situation. We need to have a big enough squad of players who can get subbed in and out, who are all first team quality. That's the team they should have. So I don't think there's many excuses for them.
Yeah, it's a weird one because it really looked like Conte was building something. Obviously, winning the Premier League this first season, the sort of squad he had seems to have been in some ways torn apart, especially by the loss of Matic.
It just seems like they're just currently going through a phase of bad decisions.
Yeah,
bad rookie errors.
The best way to do that is pick up your form on the pitch. And I mean, they've got Tottenham this weekend.
That's going to be a bit...
suddenly that can just turn into 2 losses out of 2 easily. Yeah, they've got Arsenal in a couple of weeks. That again could turn into another loss. We'll see how it goes. But we'll talk about dodgy signings. We'll move on now to maybe a not so dodgy signing. Obviously yet to see, but it does seem unlikely. We're going to have a little debate between the two open to opinion, but maybe best strikers in the Premier League at the moment, probably. Harry Kane or Romelu Lukaku. I'm going to ask you, Ibs, for you, who's the better striker?
I'm going to answer this in the same way I answered it earlier, which is in my dream team, I've got Harry Kane, not Lukaku. I think...
And Lukaku is 2 million cheaper.
Yeah, so, obviously it was a real risk there, but I think Harry Kane had a bad start to the season, bad first game. But I think, again, it's a case of he will show what he's capable of doing, because he's been showing that for the past couple of seasons.
It does seem like he doesn't do August in general.
Yeah.
And then he obviously goes on to score bucket loads.
Yeah, I still think he's the best in the Premier League, best striker. I think Lukaku, I think it's definitely too early to really say, in truth. Like, this is a debate that we should be saying really a couple games in. But I still maintain that I think, first of all, Lukaku for Belgium, atrocious. I'm saying that I think he looked terrible at times. Sometimes good, but I think sometimes really not very good at all. I think when the pressure's really on, I don't see Lukaku really stepping up all that much. Obviously he has done it in games with Everton, of course, but I just don't think he's got the same level of talent that Harry Kane has. I don't think he's got the same footwork. I don't think he's got the same strike. I think Lukaku is, of course, he's fantastic, amazing. But I just personally haven't seen enough for myself to say, he's going to be big enough. But of course, he's only just made this move. It's been one game. So it's obviously it's currently between Lukaku and Harry Kane, in my opinion. It's obviously 1-0 Lukaku so far.
Yeah.
But a long way to go yet.
Yeah, I think, the stats are very, very similar in some ways. Shot success, how's this for close for you? Harry Kane, 46% shot success. Romelu Lukaku, 45% shot success. So,
Damn.
Harry Kane, 78 goals in 118 Prem games, which is, again, exceptional. Lukaku, 89 in 188, but obviously Lukaku's been playing for West Brom, Everton, Chelsea at times, and Harry Kane's been storming it for Tottenham for the times he's been playing in the Premier League. More penalties for Kane, 12 penalties and 6 penalties. Harry Kane has got those golden boots sort of over Lukaku, and I haven't seen, but he's probably favourite to win it again this season for Tottenham. Lukaku's got the price tag laying over him, but for me, watching the games of the weekend, I mean, I know Kane had chances. He missed a sitter against Newcastle, but again, Kane usually has a slow start. He's going to score goals. It's Harry Kane. Great for English fans as well. Dele Alli as well in there. But for me, Lukaku, we've seen what he could do for Everton. Watching him for Manchester United was scary. He could have scored about 5 in that game. West Ham are no pushovers, don't get me wrong. But watching Lukaku was scary because he scored 2 already. and I genuinely think he's going to score so many goals for Manchester
You've got to remember
United.
also, to be fair, that the boys behind him, he's got some serious talent behind him, pinging in balls for him and playing him through. And I mean, I'm going to stick to Harry Kane so far, but as I said, too early. But obviously, Lukaku, even in that first game, has made a serious case for himself.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I've always said Kane. Like when we first made the fantasy teams, I was like, Kane, I don't care how much he is, I'm getting him on the team, he score goals. I was considering taking Kane out for Lukaku, purely because I know Lukaku is going to score so many goals, and I don't know what it is, but in the Manchester United colours, I just feel like he's going to score every time he gets the ball. I don't know if it's because he's got the likes of Pogba, Mkhitaryan and Rashford around him, compared to what he had at Everton, but I don't know. He's got the pace, he's got the power, which is excellent for a striker. Harry Kane, admittedly not as quick, but seems to be able to score goals from anywhere. Lukaku likes running onto the balls, and with Pogba, I feel like that's going to benefit him so much. And yeah, both 24 years old. Kane does have a better goal record, like I say, but you know, for Manchester United this season, Lukaku's, you say 1-0 up. I suppose he's 2-0 up in terms of goals, but in performances he's 1-0 up, and you know he's going to score a scary amount of goals. And you know, Neymar's just gone for £198 million or whatever it was. Lukaku for, you know, less than half of that. That's going to look some serious business. So
this is a debate we'll 100% end up coming back to.
We'll get Jack involved as well, obviously.
When he's finished his European tour.
We can get Dylan involved as well with White Lines F1. Man United fan. We'll get those two involved, but at the minute, are you a Harry Kane guy or are you a Lukaku guy? Go on, one name.
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane. I'm going to stick with Harry Kane, but I'm definitely open to my opinion changing. But I think for English football fans in general, Premier League fans, I guess, it's excellent to see Harry Kane in such good form. Obviously, people have different types of banter and all this, but yeah, Harry Kane is going to score you goals. Like he could, I think I've seen a stat about how many goals he's got to score per season to beat Alan Shearer, but I think he's got a chance of it. He's got even a chance of winning the Ballon d'Or, I say, if he keeps scoring his goals.
I wouldn't go as far as say Ballon d'Or, but I'd say, you know,
maybe we'll see. But Lukaku again, he looks scary in a Man United show. We've seen what he can do for Everton. He's proven. So is Kane. I do think I definitely have to find a way to get them both in my fantasy team. Currently got Lacazette, Kane and Jesus up front. So, you know, got to make some room for Lukaku. But we'll see. Talking of great players, we're going to move on to great players in not so good situations. Cristiano Ronaldo.
oh man, that was
sent off in the Supercopa. Real Madrid obviously getting the better of Barcelona 3-1 in the first leg.
What was that?
Why are you laughing?
Supercopa.
Supercopa, that's what it's called.
So strange, right?
Anyway, yeah, Ronaldo scoring in the game, but his red card and sending off
took all the headlines.
Took it. So, first of all, we're going to talk about the red card. The red card itself, not the push. A yellow card for taking his shirt off and then diving, possibly the two worst combination.
Yeah,
the worst combination of yellow cards.
The yellow card for the taking the shirt off one, like, it's annoying.
That's always up for open. That's always debated, isn't it?
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's still the rules. Like, it's not really worth debating right now. But the other one, well, if he's dived, if it was correct decision, then of course it's a second yellow. He's got to go. But it's the 5-match ban for. Rubbing.
Rubbing.
Above all else, there's really nothing in it. But
so we'll start with the first yellow, holding up his shirt after he scored. We've seen another great player do that recently, Lionel Messi.
It was a direct dig, of course.
Have you seen the one of Messi where it looks like he's not even holding the shirt?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I think Messi's person was more impressive because Ronaldo's was more of like a bite back.
Yeah, Messi's was sort of, I'm the greatest of all time, remember the name.
Yeah.
I'm holding up a shirt, you can't see me. I don't know why I'm doing this. Anyway, Ronaldo's was a bit of a bite back at Messi, maybe in a bitter way.
Yeah, it was a bit. I think Messi's was better just because it was the original, and it was just so powerful. Ronaldo's was more of like a, hey, I've seen this before kind of thing. But
and Messi, it was Lionel Messi.
Yeah, like
best player of all time.
If you start this debate now, I swear to God, I will headbutt you so hard.
That's for another podcast.
Your head will go through the door.
Oh God!
And it's a very big door.
That's for another podcast. The 1 game ban for the red card, fair enough, but the ban itself, 4 games, obviously
On top of it.
yeah, 5 games in total, 1 for the red card and 4 for the push. What did you make of the push? Was it a bit? Was it?
Alright, so here's the thing. Yeah, when I first watched it, my first impression was, oh god damn it, like, because I had so much frustration watching it, because it was one of those things where I looked at it and in real life that is absolutely nothing. Like
You do that between friends in real
yeah,
life.
like and there was no danger because he lightly pushed him as he's walking away. There's no danger whatsoever. It was pure frustration, but there was no aggression. As far as I know, it was frustration, not aggression. But the thing that made me so frustrated for myself was that at the end of the day, I reacted by first just going, "You can't do that.
You can't.
Like the problem is
there was a little bit of force.
Yeah, like the problem. Yeah, exactly. Like it was just enough for you to go, dude, you can't do that. Like it's just enough to unsettle the ref to the point where you've got to say, this is something to talk about separately. It's not like he touched him, because if he touched him, the referee goes, okay, now this you really can't do, and the player goes, okay.
That happened a few years back in the Premier League. Raheem Sterling got up and put his hand on the ref, and the ref sort of looked at him.
Looked at him like,
nothing was made of it.
Yeah.
But the way the referee looked at Ronaldo as well,
was immediate.
You've done something.
Yeah.
Which sort of makes it as if the referee has noticed. The referee has noticed something's happened. Do you need to take that phone call?
Oh no, that's right. I'll call him back.
Yeah, the referee's noticed something's wrong, and then he's felt the force. So I guess there was force. In terms of the length of the ban, 4 games. Do you think that's fair? 4 games for, I suppose, assaulting a referee in some way.
Well, first of all, I'm saying it's not assault. First of all, it's not assault, but I guess they're gonna deem it as that or class it as that, of course. But I just, it's so frustrating because I don't think it's worth another 4 matches. I think it should have been a total of 3 match ban.
Okay.
I think they should just added 2 more to make it like a slightly more extreme red card rather than a completely separate incident. I think that would have been enough because, as I said earlier, I think it was frustration, not aggression.
Yeah.
It was just enough to cross the line, but again, he didn't push him to the ground or anything crazy like that. But the thing that annoys me is I can see why they would have done that, because it was something on its own worth, according to the rules at least, worth taking extra ban. Yeah. I just think it was just too much. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Someone's got to look at that and go, look, he's crossed the line, but he's not. No one's gonna die. From
he's not
this.
gonna hurt him. He's not trying to hurt him. It's just sort of like, oh, come on. But
yeah.
The thing stuck out for me was he was sort of pushing him. Like, I could do it to you now. I mean, I know the viewers can't see, but it's sort of me going, oh, come on, like, really? And like the referees felt it, but it's not intent to hurt. I mean, like, we've seen other bans in the past. I know there's a new ban, a 5-year ban in grassroots football now if you assault a referee. 5-year ban. And
of course, that's...
Marco Goncalves, maybe, 4-year ban for kneeing a referee in the past. So obviously that shows the extremity for Ronaldo, a 4-game ban for pushing him, and a sort of year's ban if you're to assault a referee. And at the end of the day, you can't do it. Whether Ronaldo thought it was a dive or if it wasn't a dive, clearly he thought it wasn't a dive, but again, the referee's made the decision, and you can't put your hands on a referee, let alone give any force. So I do think it's fair enough. Ronaldo's a very obviously a big name in the world, let alone the football world. And I mean,
do you think maybe some of the reason why it was such a big ban was because it's Ronaldo?
A big ban because it's Ronaldo.
A larger ban.
Do you think
Well, in my mind, it's just crossed me because you said because it's Ronaldo.
I thought
Do you think it's not possible that they're using him because it's such a bigger example than if it would have if it was someone slightly smaller?
What I was getting at was maybe they've given him less of a ban because he's a very marketable player and he's going to get more TV audiences in. It's Barcelona versus Real Madrid now. He's now not going to be able to play in the second leg, so maybe fewer people will tune in because you're not going to see Ronaldo and Messi on the same pitch, sort of thing.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could flip it both ways, but I don't. Honestly, I think maybe I personally would stick with my side. But you make a good point. But I think it would have been almost impossible for them to do more than a total 5-match ban for that.
Yeah,
it really wasn't worth it.
Yeah. I think it's fair enough. I mean, I know they probably wouldn't have wanted to take that into consideration, but I know it would have come under consideration at the time. There would have been loads of rules they looked through, and I'm sure it is fair enough. But
yeah, because ultimately, every time you do a ban, it's a deterrent. The whole point is for it to be a deterrent. And what better way than, well, the best player in the world? What better way to set an example?
Second best player in the world.
Round 2 of Don't Do This. That door has your name on it.
Anyway, sort of a more recent situation similar to what Ronaldo did. Remember Paolo Di Canio?
Of course.
Pushed the referee to the floor.
Yeah, but that was...
an 11-match ban and fined £10,000. So we'll take the money out of the situation.
Yeah.
I know it would have been a bit more money at the time because of inflation and the sort of player of the wages and all this. But I was thinking, do you think if that referee falls to the floor, that makes a difference? Because I know it was different. Di Canio did put more force in it, but do you think if the referee falls to the floor and Ronaldo pushes him, maybe even dives himself, it's a bigger ban? Do you think?
Yeah. Strongly.
How much more?
Well, it wouldn't have been like a 4-year ban or anything but it could have been up to. I would have said I reckon if he pushed him hard enough for the ref to go to the floor, it would have been 10-match ban. Honestly, even I would be going, that is so stupid.
Yeah, they were.
At that stage, it goes into the zone of it being
assault.
Yeah,
and the Independent was saying that it should have been a 12-game ban and all this. And if the referee falls over, it's different. But again, we could talk about hindsight. I think if the referee does fall over,
there's no science in this because we can't measure how hard he pushed him, but it was clearly not much of a push.
You know, we could arrange that. Again, if Ronaldo pushes him to the floor, players surround him, referees get defensive and all this. So again, that is a different story. But overall, do you think it was justified, the ban, or do you think it was a bit extortionate?
I think it was. I think it was a bit too much, but equally, I understand why. And it really frustrates me that I understand it because I really think it should have been a maximum 3, an absolute maximum, but I can understand why, and I think there are other factors that they're not going to say out loud, such as the fact that it is Ronaldo, that made it so large. But that's just my opinion. I think it is a bit much, but I can understand why, because it just about was enough for it to be crossing the line, just about. Okay, so finally we are going to move on to possibly a new, maybe a new dominant force in Europe, Paris Saint-Germain. Now, obviously, many people have spoken, myself included. Check out the video on Neymar, Lewis's Lounge. Anyway, myself included, have spoken about Neymar and his transfer to death. So I thought we'd talk a little about the club altogether. Obviously, they've got money to throw around. They've just spent 222 or something million euros on Neymar. Rumours that boyhood fan Kylian Mbappe is going to be heading to Paris as well from Monaco. You see that tweet by Alexis Sanchez that he deleted, by the way?
What one?
He recently tweeted something, I can't remember exactly what it was.
Oh, I think I heard about that.
And then basically he had to quickly delete it and then re-upload that tweet because basically he left his location settings on.
It was in
Paris.
Paris.
The first one it was in Paris. And oh mate, I tell you what, when I saw that I was bricking it, man.
But signing 3 left wingers, that would be massive for PSG. But first of all, I just want to touch on the squad depth of PSG. Obviously, they've brought Neymar in. They're sort of, I've heard in another podcast, I think it was the front 3. Maybe it was the True Geordie kickoff show, saying basically that they're filling a Zlatan-sized hole that they were obviously missing last year. Obviously, since Zlatan left, they've not really replaced him adequately. They missed out on Liga 1 last season to Monaco. I think because of the sales that Monaco have faced, the likes of Mendy, the likes of Bakayoko that they've lost, and looks like they're going to lose Mbappe as well, Bernardo Silva, they do seem to be falling again, and unfortunately Monaco seem like they're still a selling club. So I think PSG have probably got Liga 1 in the bag, but I think it's the Champions League they want. And if you look at their squad depth, you've got the likes of Draxler, Cavani, Verratti, Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, Di Maria, Rabiot, Neymar.
Sounds so dangerous.
Possibly Mbappe. Ibs, are they going to win the Champions League this season?
For a brief moment, I thought you meant I signed for them. I was like, I do not remember this. I was like, I mean, yeah, but
Linking up with Neymar on that left,
Yeah.
you know. Are PSG going to win the Champions League this season?
I'm not going to say they're going to win Champions League, but I think because I think it's just too early again. But I think they are definitely in there now. I think they're really, really in there, because you got to remember that one of the big contenders is Barcelona, and now they're much weaker. No matter how much Neymar is replaced, if you want the best left winger guy there, you get Neymar.
Yeah.
So no matter what, you will never have someone who fully fills his boots.
Yeah.
So they've strengthened themselves and massively weakened another side. I think PSG have really put themselves out there. I don't think that they're going to get Mbappe at the moment. I think they'll maybe wait till January. I will say wait till January. Then I could see things happening in January.
I'm not sure. I mean, it does depend on how both teams' seasons are going in regards to Monaco and PSG, but I'm unsure whether someone would be willing to lose the likes of Mbappe in January, considering not too many clubs like to do business in January, and
no, not at all. But
Monaco would then have to go out and spend that money to get a replacement and buy some more players, and would they want that to happen in January in terms of other clubs? Probably not. But like I say, I think Mbappe, he's 19 years old.
He's got time on his hands.
He's a year older than us.
Yeah.
Like, he could
Barely.
stay at Monaco for 2-3 years if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And he's already worth over £100 million. And there's rumours of him going to Real, to Barcelona. If he goes to PSG, which...
To Arsenal.
there was.
Yeah.
No. Anyway.
True.
Yeah, if Mbappe's to go to PSG, you know, you look at a possible front four of Mbappe, Neymar, Cavani, Di Maria.
That is disgusting.
Is vile. Draxler's still not even in that. Sort of reminds me of Manchester City's attack in terms of depth, but that would probably mean a position change for Mbappe more than Neymar. Cavani probably shifted aside, but again, that's a depth thing. And if PSG are getting the hottest young prospect in Europe, maybe in the world, which again, he's a PSG fan when he was younger, reportedly. He grew up in Paris, as far as I'm aware. And, you know, apparently he wants to move. And although that might look like a lack of ambition, like people originally thought of Neymar, rather than Mbappe going to, like, Real.
Would they be willing to, though? Like, obviously, we saw Atletico get their ban. I mean, if they were to want to buy Mbappe, they'd have to spend over 100 million again.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's a weird... I'm not 100% sure how they get away with that.
Yeah, because I would see a bit of a lack of I'd see a bit of a lack of consistency within the rules if you've got a team like...
If the world record's £90 million and they've smashed it twice in the same window...
Yeah, more than doubled it, then it speaks a lot. And then they go out and then a couple months later then smash the old record again.
Yeah.
So I think that's a bit of a... Something's got to be done about that. Like, someone's got to say, okay, PSG really can't be doing this.
Yeah.
But
they have got money to burn.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, the squad depth of all those players, I'm excited to see what Rabiot's going to do. We know the qualities of Silva, of Marquinhos.
of course, yeah.
Verratti was obviously linked with Barcelona, which, again, I've heard rumours of people's opinions that, you know, PSG sort of saying, you're trying to take our star player, we'll take yours. Obviously, eliminating Messi there, but... it's possible, but Matuidi joining Juventus in £19 million deal, which is actually quite cheap.
That's not bad at all.
Matuidi's worked well in midfield on the left, but again, they've got the depth. The money probably means nothing to them, but again, that could be something pushed through by Matuidi. For me, you're looking at the Champions League. Barcelona are definitely in a transition period. They've changed their management. They've lost one of the most marketable and best players in Neymar. They're sort of struggling in certain areas. Personally, I don't think they've got a good enough goalkeeper. The back four's probably okay now they've got Semedo in. They still haven't replaced Xavi and Iniesta properly. I know Iniesta's still there, but he's obviously not who he was. They're obviously looking at Coutinho, which is a big saga. They're looking at Dembele as well, which is a massive saga. Obviously him reportedly flying to Barcelona. They've got money now, they've got some business to do. So again, I like Barcelona, but I'm not too sure that they're the elite team at the minute, and Real Madrid seem to be taking over. I mean, the 2 European Championships in a row, they'll no doubt be going for a third in a row. And Zidane's a brilliantly tactically flexible manager. He's done very, very well at Real Madrid. He's going to be there for a long time, Real Madrid legend, and I think they're going to stay on the top for a long time. But the emergence of PSG, obviously, it did go a bit tits up last season in the Champions League. Obviously, that loss to Barcelona sort of ruined the club a bit.
Yeah.
But again, they've invested. They've bought one of the best players in the world, probably a future Ballon d'Or winner, and they could be on track for another one in Mbappe. And Unai Emery has come under a lot of criticism, his management, and the fact that they didn't win Ligue 1 when they've got all that money, and Monaco have as well. But you'd think PSG would want to win that if they're going to want to win the Champions League, which the board seems so sort of invested in trying to win the Champions League, and the quality they have there.
I think Champions League is definitely a bigger. It's far more important than league than domestically.
Yeah.
Because if they win it domestically, everyone goes, of course they should. But if they win Champions League, everyone talks about that. Everyone talks about that all over Europe.
It's sort of like Juventus, isn't it? Because they're going to win Serie A every season, but they want to be competing in the Champions League. They got to 2 finals in however many years recently, and they've come out second best both times. But again, they're doing it, and PSG want to be at that level. They want to be in finals, and they want to be winning them. And
definitely,
for me, I think the depth they've got there. I mean, I don't know if players like Drax are going to be too happy if they bring Mbappe in, but PSG are making movement, and they're definitely a team to watch. If not this year, definitely in the next couple of years in terms of the Champions League. So, in a word, are PSG going to win the Champions League in the next 3 years?
Is this a yes or no, or can I flick a maybe?
You have to say yes or no, but I want some reasons. You can debate in your reason.
I will say, I'm going to put my neck on the line. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
I think they've built themselves a really mean platform now.
Yeah.
A nasty, nasty platform, and they know that okay, if they just strengthen out the backside a little bit more, they've got something that everyone will fear.
Yeah.
In some way. I mean, because they'll be facing teams like Barcelona and so on, who haven't got the same defence, the same issue, which is a defence that isn't maybe up to scratch in some ways. And then so PSG can take advantage of that, but then Barca can do the same, but then you can say that with every club they face, really similar things.
It's going to be more competitive, isn't it?
Definitely. Oh, absolutely, 100%. So I'm saying yes, but obviously I'd rather say maybe.
Yeah.
But I think yes, they're definitely contenders.
I think Bayern have fallen a bit, definitely, in recent years. I think obviously you're naturally looking at Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern. For me, Real Madrid are on top of the tree at the minute because of the stability they have with Zidane, the sort of the players they've got. I mean, they've got Ronaldo, they've got Modric and Kroos, which are so vital. They've still got Bale there, they've still got Benzema. They've got the likes of Asensio, who I think is brilliant coming through. It's insane. But they've got that defence as well. They've got Ramos, they've got Varane, those sort of players. And maybe they're lacking a keeper, but now that's good enough. And for me, Real Madrid are going to remain on top of the tree for a long time. But I think in the next few years, you're going to see PSG and Real Madrid at the top. And PSG are going to become a more attractive club. They're going to be considered one of the world's best, and players are going to want to be joining there, and players are going to want to play the likes of Neymar and Mbappe if they're going, rather than maybe Messi, Ronaldo, because they're getting on. And the next generation seems to be at PSG, so I think it's a very good possibility. But again, Real Madrid are at the top of the tree at the minute. So I think that does wrap up this podcast. Thank you very much for listening. I enjoyed it. It was good.
I think it was good.
Good to have you back, Gibbs.
Nice to be back.
Hopefully we'll have Jack back soon. When he's done travelling in Spain. Please remember to like and subscribe and all that. Check out the League One podcast as well. Great bunch of lads over there who are doing some very, very good stuff on League One football in England. Rochdale and Oldham fan run it, and we need some more League One fans. Gillingham fans on there to outnumber the others.
Arsenal fans as well.
Arsenal in League One.
I'm lonely.
In League One.
Arsenal.
Do you want to talk a little bit about White Lines F1?
Yeah, it's literally same as this, but for F1. Getting a bit of a schedule going on pretty soon to get some more consistent videos. We're going to be having some podcasts, a couple of challenge videos, and of course race analysis, which is my main series. So yeah, if you're interested in F1, check it out. That'd be awesome. Leave a subscription as well. That'd be awesome.
And we do have some very, very big things coming up in the near future, hopefully, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, it's big when he starts clapping his hands at the same time.
So
tell you what.
Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to follow all the links in the description below. JBuckley78 Twitter.
At Ibrahim Quadra.
At LRC Browning. I forgot my Twitter name. Yeah, at White Lines Media on Instagram and Twitter as well. Thank you very much for watching again. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.